Good morning, students. The story which we are going to do today is B. Wordsworth by V.S. Naipaul. Before we start with the story, let me give you a brief introduction of the author. V.S. Naipaul, or Vidyadhar Surat Prasad Naipaul, was born in 1932, 17th August 1932, in the town of Chaguanas in Trinidad. Naipaul worked briefly for the BBC as a writer and editor for the Caribbean Voices program. His famous works include Miguel Street, A House of Mr. Biswas, A Bend in the River, The Enigma of Arrival, A Wounded Civilization, and many other books he has written. Naipaul was knighted in 1989. And he was awarded the David Cohen British Literature Prize by the Arts Council of England in 1993 and the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2001. V.S. Naipaul died on 11th of August 2018 in London, UK. The story which we are going to do today, that is B. Wordsworth, it appears in Naipaul's Miguel Street. And Miguel Street is a book which is a collection of linked short stories. And each story in this book focuses on a particular character, means focuses on a single character. B. Wordsworth, the protagonist of this story, is a Calypsonian poet. And he becomes the friend of the narrator, who is an impressionable, inquisitive boy. And the aim of the story is to motivate the reader to appreciate poetry and the beauty of nature which surround all of us. So, now I'll be telling you the summary of the story. And I have divided the summary in these points. So, starting with the first one, a strange visitor at the narrator's house. The story starts with the narrator recalling the beggars and the rogues which used to come every day to the hospitable houses of the Miguel Street. And what happens one afternoon, a strange person comes to the narrator house at about 4 o'clock in the evening. And he addresses the narrator as Sonny. So, then the writer has given the description of the man's appearance. He was neatly dressed. He wore a hat, white shirt, black trousers, and he also spoke impeccable English. But his accent was not a natural one. It was an assumed accent. Right? He asked the narrator to allow him to watch the bees which were buzzing around the trees in his house, around the gru-gru palm trees. To which the boy's mother, though she was not very happy with this idea, but she somehow agreed to the man's request. So what happened after that? The man and the boy, they went on watching the bees for an hour. And then the boy asked the man his name. So this old man, he told the boy that his name was B. Wordsworth. And B in his name stands for black. And the name of his brother was White Wordsworth, who was also a poet. He also told the boy that he's a poet. And then he compares himself to, you can say that William Wordsworth. Why? Because he tells the boy that he is also a great poet and he can watch flower and cry. You know that William Wordsworth was a great nature poet. So he told the boy that he is also a great poet and he can look at the flower and he will start crying. So after some time, what happens? The man takes out a piece of poetry from a piece of paper from his pocket, and in that paper, he had written a poem. And then he tries to sell his poem to the boy for 4 cents. But the boy's mother, she's annoyed and she asks the man to leave her yard. But before going, B. Wordsworth tells the boy something which makes him very happy. He tells the boy that he can see a great poet in that boy also. right? He tells the boy that he is also a great poet, that the boy is also a very good poet like him. Now coming to the second point, B. Wordsworth's second meeting with the boy. So what happens? This was the description of the first meeting. Then a week passes, and after a week, while returning from school one afternoon, this narrator, the boy, he met B. Wordsworth at the corner of the McGill Street. Wordsworth invites the boy to his house, which was in Alberto Street. He invites the boy to come to his house and eat ripe, juicy mangoes. The boy agrees and he goes to B. Wordsworth's house, and he sees that his house, there was a lot of greenery in his house. There was a very big garden in his house, and in the center of the garden, there was his, you can say, a hut kind of a thing was there where B. Wordsworth lived. And there were many trees. There was mango trees, there was a coconut tree, and there was a plum tree also. The next point is the mother's strictness. So, after staying for a long time with B. Wordsworth, the boy returns to his own house. And after eating 5-6 mangoes, he returns to his own house. And when the boy reaches his house late, his mother scolds him for being late. And he even receives a beating from his mother who was very annoyed. And so after being hit by his mother, he runs out of the house swearing that he will never come back again. When B. Wordsworth walk with the boy. So when the boy leaves his house, he was annoyed, he was sad, he was crying because his mother had hit him. And so where does the boy go? He goes to B. Wordsworth's house. After being beaten by his mother, the boy went to B. Wordsworth's house. And Wordsworth, what does Wordsworth do to calm down the boy? He just takes the crying boy out for a walk. And then they lay on the grass, looked at the sky, the stars. The boy also started feeling great, and he also started feeling big. He was happy now. So the boy calmed down when he was lying on the grass with B. Wordsworth and looking at the stars. Then Wordsworth starts telling this little boy the names of the stars, the names of the constellation. So, but he forgot all the other constellations. He remembers only one. That is the Orion, the constellation of Orion. He remembers till date, which is the hunter. To the next point, that is growing friendship between B. Wordsworth and the narrator. So what happens? Very soon, these two, that is the narrator and B. Wordsworth, they become very close friends. And they start spending a lot of time together. And the boy, this young boy, he develops liking for B. Wordsworth and his house. So what happens? This young boy, one day he asked the reason from B. Wordsworth for keeping his yard so bushy and not cutting down the grass and the trees and in his garden. Then B. Wordsworth tells him the story of two poets. He says that there were two poets, a boy poet and a girl poet, and both of them, they fell in love and they got married. Then the girl poet, she became pregnant and she died. And along with the girl poet, their unborn baby also died. Her sad husband did not touch anything in the garden. Why? Because the girl poet, she loved greenery all around. So this was the story which was narrated by B. Wordsworth to the narrator. And while B. Wordsworth was narrating this story, the young boy could sense that he is growing old, right? He appeared to be very old to the boy. Then the next point is the greatest poem. The boy and B. Wordsworth, they continued going on long walks. They went to botanical gardens, rock gardens, Chancellor Hill. So these were the places where they used to go on walk. And they would sit there till darkness, and they found it really exciting. They used to spend their time far away from the city, enjoying the natural beauty. So this strengthened, this deepened their bond of friendship. Then what happened? B. Wordsworth, one day he revealed to the boy his secret. He told the boy that he was writing the greatest poem in the world. He said that he was working on it for almost 5 years and it would take 22 years to finish that poem. He told the boy that he just writes one line a month, and his wish is to distill the entire experience of the whole month in that one single line. And he strongly believed that once the poem is finished, once the poem which B. Wordsworth is writing is finished, that will sing to all humanity. This was the secret which was revealed by B. Wordsworth to the young boy. Then coming to the next point, that is B. Wordsworth's deteriorating condition. What happened? This B. Wordsworth, slowly his health started deteriorating, his condition started deteriorating. He became older. So one day when the boy went to see B. Wordsworth at his house, he found him lying on the bed, and he looked very old and weak to the boy. And the boy was, because he was so attached to B. Wordsworth, that he had a very strong urge to cry. He wanted to cry. The boy felt like crying. So what did the poet do? The poet didn't look at the boy. He was looking through the window at the coconut tree. And he said to the boy that his poem is not going well. That poem which he was writing, the poem, that long poem which he was writing, and it will take 22 years to finish. That poem is not going well. And the boy could clearly see approaching death on his face. Approaching death on B. Wordsworth's shrinking face was very much visible to the boy. The death of the poet is the next point. In his last moments, B. Wordsworth acknowledges in front of the boy that the poet's eyes could see death. And he tells the boy that he was also a great poet, because the boy was able to see death on B. Wordsworth's face. So he tells him that he also is a great poet. The man sensed his approaching death, and hence he revealed to the boy that this man, that is B. Wordsworth, sensed his approaching death. And so he tells the boy that all his talks about poetry and the greatest poem in the world, and all the story which he told about the girl poet and the boy poet, all these stories were not true. They were just concocted by B. Wordsworth. This is what he tells this young boy. And then he asks the boy never to return to this place, never to come again to his house. And the disheartened boy, he couldn't bear to see his friend die, right? He couldn't see his friend dying, and so he runs home crying. Then he stops coming to B. Wordsworth's house. And what happens? After 1 year, the boy just happened to walk along this Alberto Street a year later. And then when he returned to this street after a year, he could not find any sign of the poet's house, any sign of B. Wordsworth's house. And it seemed to the narrator that B. Wordsworth never existed. In place of B. Wordsworth's house, what was there? There was a big 2-storied building standing. The trees were cut down, and everywhere there was brick and concrete. So it seemed as if B. Wordsworth never existed. Now let's discuss the theme of the, I hope the story is clear. So let's discuss the theme of the story. I've divided the theme in 4 points. The first theme of the story is identity, right? B. Wordsworth was suffering from identity crisis. B. Wordsworth was a part of the post-colonial novel, that is Miguel Street, which focuses on the issue of identity. The protagonist of the story is B. Wordsworth, who seemed to have a misplaced identity. Being a colonized Trinidad man, he used to dress himself like the colonizers, like the English people. He wore a hat, a shirt, trousers, and he even tried to imitate. You remember I told you that his accent was not the natural accent, right? He tried to imitate the English, not only by his way of dressing, but also by his way of speaking. He spoke impeccable English, which didn't sound natural, right? Natural to a Trinidadian man. And it seemed as if he has rejected his natural dialect, right? So B. Wordsworth failed to identify himself either with the native people or with the colonizers. So he was somewhere in the middle, right? Then his name. The second issue of identity is related to his name. His name, B. Wordsworth, and his claim that White Wordsworth is his brother seemed to be a failed attempt on his part to identify himself with the famous romantic poet that is William Wordsworth. He aspired to associate himself with William Wordsworth because William Wordsworth was also a national poet, right? So he compared himself with William Wordsworth, who was a great romantic poet, by the fact that he could, when he says that he could watch a flower and like a morning glory and cry, like William Wordsworth. And he aimed to write the greatest poem in the world. But the reality was that nobody ever bought a single copy of his poem, of his poetry. Then the next point which I would like to discuss related to this theme is about B. Wordsworth's death. It was during his last moments that B. Wordsworth revealed his attempts to identify himself as the great poet were all a lie. He just, during his last moments, he tells the boy, he reveals the fact that all his attempts, right? All his attempts throughout the story, he was trying to associate himself with the William Wordsworth, right? All these attempts, all these things were false, right? He comes to terms with reality during the time of his death. So on his deathbed, he sets himself free from all the illusions and dies. So that's why in the end it's written that it seemed as if B. Wordsworth never existed. Coming to the next point, that is failure and disillusionment. Failure and disillusionment is another important theme of B. Wordsworth. B. Wordsworth, who was the society's solitary, creative voice. B. Wordsworth's character failed because he claimed to be the greatest poet in the world, but he never completed a poem. You remember, he tried to write a poem, and he said that this poem will take 22 years to complete. And the one on mothers that he had completed, there were no buyers. Nobody was ready to buy that poem. The other poem that was aimed to talk of all humanity would take 22 years to complete. Why? Because he distilled the experience of the month in a single line, and every month he used to write only one line. So what does this tell us? This tells us that the man was kind of disillusioned and he didn't actually recognize the limits of his capability. So that was probably the reason why he failed. And he failed to such an extent that a year later, after his death, it appeared as if he didn't even exist, as if B. Wordsworth never existed, right? He was such a great failure. Love of nature. Love of nature in the story is reflected both by B. Wordsworth and the young boy, because both of them spent a lot of time staying away from these man-made concrete buildings. B. Wordsworth liked to watch a variety of objects in nature, be it the bees. You remember both of them, both the narrator and B. Wordsworth, they loved watching bees. I mean, they continued watching the bees for 1 hour on the gru palm tree or a small flower. He was fond of natural surroundings as opposed to the concrete city life. And both of them, they loved lying on the grass, looking at the stars, watching the stars in the sky. And he wanted the boy, B. Wordsworth wanted the boy to share his love for nature with him. So that is why he used to take him for a walk. B. Wordsworth was so much in love with the natural beauty that he kept his yard all green and bushy. Then B. Wordsworth was was so much a part of nature that a year later, when he died, and the narrator happened to walk along the Alberto Street, the presence of bricks and concrete everywhere marked his absence. Coming to the last point, that is escapism. Escapism is also one of the predominant themes of this story, that is B. Wordsworth. Escapism, what is escapism? Escapism, you can say, is a diversion of the mind to anything which is purely imaginative, to any activity which is purely imaginative or for entertainment, as an escape which allows people to forget about the real problems of life. Means when people, they don't want to face the real problems of life, then they just divert their mind to entertainment or to some imaginative activity, right? So in an attempt to deal with the futility of the inner city life in the post-colonial Trinidad, B. Wordsworth embraces escapism by excessively praising his poetry, right? He goes on praising his poetry. He was disillusioned and lived in a dream-like world, right? He liked living in his own world. Even his house was very different from the rest of the houses which were in that area, right? And why did he do that? Because the reality didn't please him, right? He was not very happy with the reality around him. He knew that in reality nobody had ever bought a single copy of his poetry, but this did not deter him from claiming the poem he had wished to sell to the narrator as the greatest poem about mothers, right? He was very much aware of this fact. This was the reality, that he was a failed poet. Nobody has ever bought a single copy of his poetry. But when he tried to sell his poem, he referred to his poem as the greatest poem about mothers. Then he considers himself equal to William Wordsworth. He even tried to make the young boy a part of his escapist world by telling him of the greatest poem in the world, which he was supposedly writing at the pace of 1 line per month. So he tells the boy also about his greatest poem. So he wants the young boy also to become a part of his escapist world. Moreover, B. Wordsworth kept telling the young boy that he had the eyes of a poet. He even motivated the boy also, right? He also told the boy that he could see a young poet in this boy. He constantly trained the boy, but never tried to cultivate the artist in him. In reality, he had not achieved anything, and his dreams are all in his head. He only dreamt and dreamt and dreamt without actually achieving anything. But in the end of the story, he shatters the boy's illusion of a romantic world with the confession that everything about him was imaginary. And with this, he allows the boy the opportunity to go and discover the reality for himself and become what B. Wordsworth never was. That is a part of the real world. That is why in the end, he doesn't want the boy to be an escapist like him. He doesn't want the boy to live a life like him, to be a failure. That is why when he was about to die, he tells the boy that what all he told him till now about the boy poet and the girl poet and the greatest poem in the world, that was all false. Nothing was true about it, right? So this is what He tells the boy. Why? Because he wanted the boy to be a part of the real world and not live a life like him. With this, we come to the end of the story. I hope you liked the video. Thank you.